Trudeau reaches for the wrong man. I'm Brian Lilley with TheRebel.Media. Maybe you heard on the weekend that Justin Trudeau reached into the way back machine with Mr. Peabody and brought Jean Chretien out to campaign with him. They were appearing at the Sheraton Hotel in Hamilton, Ontario at a packed rally. Now, it looked like a pretty packed rally, but I can tell you, I was there in '97 when Chretien filled that very same hotel room with even more people. Why? Because they were excited about him. Maybe that's why they were out in Hamilton again on Sunday with Trudeau. But here's the thing. Trudeau decided to appear with Jean Chretien to critique Canada's standing in the world, and he did it just after Jean Chretien issued an op-ed in the Globe and Mail saying that Canada has lost its way. Canada was losing its international stature, and it's all because of Stephen Harper, and therefore we have to change. I'm going to remind you of something, that just like Justin Trudeau, Jean Chretien has a love of China as well. We all remember what Trudeau said when he was asked, what's the country you admire most other than Canada?
There's a level of admiration I actually have for China, because their basic dictatorship is allowing them to actually turn their economy around on a dime.
All right, so we know that Justin Trudeau believes that China and its basic dictatorship allows it to turn green on a dime, even as they build coal plant after coal plant, even as they have toxic spill after toxic spill, even as they ignore all of the types of requirements, the environmental regulations that we require of our industry here. He still loves them because theoretically, through their dictatorship, they could turn green on a dime. But what about Chretien, the man that says Canada has fallen since he left office? What did he do immediately after leaving office? Did he go off and work with Sweden? Did he go off and work with Denmark? No. Within months of him leaving, he was taking private clients to China. Months of him leaving office, he was taking private clients to China, building upon the relationships that he had developed while he was Prime Minister. He was profiteering off his time as Prime Minister with a dictatorial regime. And this man is going to try and tell the rest of the world that Canada's lost its stature? No, sir. You've lost your stature and you've lost your way. You also claim that Canada is not doing enough for the refugee crisis, unlike when you were in power. Well, let me remind you, during the Bosnian War, when we did a big airlift of refugees, you know what else we were doing? You, sir, sent in our CF-18s to bomb sites, to bomb strategic military sites. We were part of an international coalition, just like we are now, but your party's willing to walk away from that. Look, Justin Trudeau and Jean Chretien appeared together for the media afterwards, and Chretien was asked about the possibility of war criminals or terrorists getting into the country because of opening up the doors to refugees. Listen to what he actually said.
I never heard anybody who blamed the problem that we could have in our society of the fact that we had to receive people who are looking for a place to make a living. So we have to be realists about it. Of course, hypothetically, there could be some.
What Chretien doesn't remember is that there were war criminals that got into Canada on his watch. Desiree Muniera, who lived among the Rwandan community in Canada for years, people were terrified because here's a guy who was committing war crimes and he's walking the streets freely in Canada. We also had people accused. They ended up on the Canadian Border Service Agency's most wanted list. Alleged Serbian war criminals who were in Canada. We've had the Nazi war criminals in Canada over the years. This is not some hypothetical, as Jean Chretien would have you believe. This is reality. And yet Stephen Harper is the one who's portrayed as a bad guy for worrying about it. Listen to what his reaction was when quizzed about this on the weekend here in Ottawa.
This is an important issue for Canadians. We're going to bring in more refugees. We're going to do it in a manner that reflects Canadian generosity and also protects Canadian interests. Yesterday, the government was very proud to announce that we are creating a matching fund for humanitarian assistance in the region. Canadians can donate. The Government of Canada will match those donations. Let's never forget that no matter how many refugees the world says it will take, the vast majority of people who are being affected by this crisis will remain in the region, and they will need humanitarian assistance. And we're very proud to do this, and I think Canadians will respond very generously.
All right, now think about which person you actually want worrying about the security of the country, worrying about handling refugees in a sensible way. Two guys that love the basic dictatorship of China, who don't worry about hypothetical, like war criminal coming into Canada, or someone that does worry about making sure that we're helping real refugees, that we're not helping those who are going to be one step ahead of the law for the crimes they committed in the war zone that they're leaving. We know that that's happening already. We know when you see 72% of the migrants, not refugees, the migrants showing up in Europe, 72% of them are men, you know that those aren't real refugees. Not all of them. Maybe there's some in the middle. But we know that the majority of them are people who are just saying, I've had enough of fighting, I'm taking off. What did they do when they were in the war zone? Are we going to have investigations for years to come after this? Jean Chretien should know better than this, but of course we know he's only playing partisan games to try and get his boy elected at a time when that possibility looks very, very slim.